Welcome to the 29th episode of the Nordic Sports News Podcast, the world's first daily cross-country ski and biathlon podcast with the latest news from around the globe. Today, we start with news from the Ruka World Cup and the sprint race report and results. In the men's sprint race, a star was born. The young Russian Alexander Terentev pulled off an exceptional race during the Ruka sprint where he simply swallowed up Klæbo, Valnes and Juve on the final climb. For this first World Cup sprint, it was obviously Johannes Hosflot Klæbo who was supposed to command the race. Behind him, Erik Valnes, Federico Pellegrino, Emil Iversen, Richard Juve, Sergei Ueshchagov and Alexander Bolshanov were cited. Logical, but nobody had seen the coming of this new monster named Alexander Terentev. Aged 22, Bolshanov's training partner, he was crowned junior sprint world champion in 2019, before winning the U23 world title last year. Terentev is far from coming out of nowhere, and when we saw him playing with Klæbo in the last hill, before leaving him behind by developing a power rarely seen, we understand that this skier already looks like a phenomenon. Never on the podium in the World Cup, he won his first bouquet today, with an incredible panache while leaving a simply formidable impression. Behind him, Klæbo tried everything, gave everything, but this afternoon he seemed to have become a student facing the Russian master. It remains to be seen whether Terentev's exceptional number will continue. Erik Valnes, like his teammate, could not do anything, and he would no doubt be quite happy with his third place because behind him the threat Richard Juve was very present. Alexander Bolshanov, eliminated in the semifinal for not much, is already showing the tips of his form, despite his delay in the preparation. Now, let's check the women's sprint, with a great win for the Swedish Maja Dahlqvist. Despite the absence of their two best sprint specialists, world champion Jonna Sundling and Linn Svahn, third in the Specialty World Cup last year, the Swedes placed three cross-country skiers in the final of the Ruka sprint. Among them, the young star, the talented Frida Karlsson, who surprised everyone by coming to achieve the best sprint of her life. A great distance specialist, she took a nice sixth place, behind another surprise, the Finnish Katri Lailanpura. Joanna Madantalo, another local cross-country skier, did even better with a fourth place, also synonymous with the better performance in her career. For the win we found the trio Faye, for Norway, Ekström and Dahlqvist for Sweden. This battle turned to a big demonstration when the great Maja went alone on the famous hill of Ruka. Untouchable and too strong, she went to take her second career success in front of her 23-year-old teammate, who celebrated her third podium. The great, by her talent and achievements, Maiken Kaspersen Faye finished third. Now, let's check the Gala races and results. Norwegian athletes not on the start lists for the Ruka World Cup met today on the Norwegian tracks of Gala with the aim of securing their entry ticket to Lillehammer World Cup next weekend. Far from the excitement of the launch of the first stage of the World Cup in Ruka this morning, the rest of the Norwegians face each other this weekend in Gala, for the opening of the Norwegian Cup. With no surprises, it was the young Helene Marie Fossesholm who won in the individual skating with 11 seconds ahead of her compatriot Caroline Simpson Larsen. Not selected for Ruka, Fossesholm set the best intermediate times throughout the course. With this victory, she thus secures an entry ticket for the World Cup in Lillehammer next weekend. Berit Mogstad completed the leading trio with 21 seconds off the lead. Like Helene Marie Fossesholm, the Norwegian Didrik Toenseth grabbed a ticket for the start of the second stage of the cross-country skiing World Cup in Lillehammer next weekend. The 15 km course smiled on the Norwegian, who won widely in front of his opponents, with a comfortable lead of more or less 20 seconds at each of the intermediaries. Behind, the fight was close between Havard Mosby, at 21.4 seconds, and Ole Jørgen Bruvel, at 22.3 seconds, who, after battling over the entire first half of the course, gradually climbed up the rankings and therefore ended up respectively at second and third place. Revenge and disappointment at his non-selection for Ruka, in favor of Erik Valnes, the winner of the individual skate from Beitostølen, will be more determined than ever to obtain the precious ticket to Lillehammer. Like him, Finn Hagen-Kroh, Mikael Gunnolfsson, Sindre Bjornstad Skar and Silja Theodorsson will give their best to secure a ticket for the event. The rest of the weekend promises to be captivating with very expensive last places for the athletes. Despite higher quotas for the Norwegian team, all dream of winning their selection for Lillehammer and hope for a place, further away, on the winter goal, the Beijing Olympics in February. This Saturday, a skating sprint will be on the program, before a classic individual on Sunday to end the weekend. Now, to wrap up our news today, we have some changes at the Biathlon World Cup in Oberhof, Germany. After Beijing and Hochfilzen, it is the legendary German stage of the World Cup which will take place again without the presence of the public. At the beginning of November everyone was delighted to find the public at the edges of the tracks, To find an atmosphere and to live as before, but now the reality and more drastic measures are required again. After the Hochfilzen stage, following the Austrian confinement, which will take place behind closed doors, it is the organizers of Oberhof who announced the same thing this evening. It was important for us to make a quick decision given what was going on. We were only allowed a small number of people, after deducting athletes and officials, but we declined, said Thomas Grellman, president of the organizing committee. We regret this decision and we hope our fans will understand. He concludes. We should add that this Oberhof site, completely renovated and modernized, will host the World Championships in 2023. As for the second German stage of the World Circuit, scheduled for Ruhpolding the following week, mid-January, it remains to this day scheduled with the public. And that's all for today, folks. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Spotify and Instagram. Just type Nordic Sports News on these platforms and access our content. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow in the next episode. Information credits to Nordic Mag and Ski Nordic.